Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over how to modify your hang-on back filters with a sponge filter on the internal, a sponge filter on the intake tube, and you don't have to buy any more of them replacement cartridges, and it's actually better for your aquarium. So stay tuned and we'll go over it. Thanks. Okay, so these are your generic $15 hang-on the back filters. They come with the replaceable cartridges, which are pretty much junk, so we'll get rid of that. So what I do is I have some replacement filter sponges for my FX5 filter canister. They come in different colors. They're all the same. They're all cut the same. So what I do is I install them on these cheap hang on the backs. They are the perfect width. You can see you get a nice tight seal all the way down. You have room. See, the water gets drawn up here and it goes all the way to the bottom, then disperses into the back. And it has room to clog this sponge from top to bottom. Then transfers through the sponge, runs down the front, returns to your tank. We can pull it out if you want. So inside of here, this is how that one would sit in there, and then there's actually a biological tray that's kind of a joke piece of plastic, but anyways, we're not going to use any of that. So like I said, that just slides right down in there. So if I remember correctly, when I buy these replacement sponges, they come in 2 per package. I believe that's how it goes. So anyways, what I do is I'll make a cut right here, divide it in half, and then depending on the height of the canister, I will trim it again. So per sponge, I can do 2 hang on the backs. So then normally, for the intake, I use these little sponge filters. They slide right on. And in fact, as long as you run these, the inside sponge will not plug up very often. So you'll change this one. I clean these about every water change, maybe every other water change. On the tanks that I do leaf litter and stuff like that, I gotta change them every time I do my weekly water change. The internals is, it depends on the tank, but quite often you'll change this, clean this multiple times before you got to do this. As long as you run the sponge and you just don't do the direct intake, which you can, but if you just use the intake tube, you're going to plug up your sponge a lot faster. This way, all your debris get caught on here. This one will hardly ever plug. So what I've also got is one of these cheapos. I had actually bought them for my shrimp tanks a long time ago, and I was so unhappy with them. They went into the aquarium box, and I thought was never going to be used again. But I am going to try something different. So remove the air intake part. Remove the little screen. And that intake tube fits on there just perfect. And then these, of course, you can remove, and they're slotted, and the idea is real good. They just, with airflow through them, they were horrible. The suction cup on them was horrible, but we'll see how well they work on the hang on the back. One other thing that I like to do, I do this a couple times a year. Take out your impeller. So if you ever, these cheap hang on backs make a lot of noise or anything like that, if they do make a lot of noise, you know, you may have a snail shell or something in there. But I like to rub the petroleum jelly, make sure that it's scent free and just 100% petroleum jelly. Rub that all over the intake sponge. It'll make these a lot quieter, and they'll last a lot longer. So we got that all nice and slicked up. So then that just sits in there. My intake sponge, I did a pretty good job cutting this one. A lot of the other ones was pretty rough cut, but that'll slide right down in there, and you can, you know, just adjust it a little bit to get it perfectly positioned in there the way you want it. Got my intake tube, and we're ready to go. Not sure on this part. Like I said, normally I just do the intake sponge. These on the intake, I love. We're gonna try these. We'll see how they do. But anyways, with this setup, these sponges, all you gotta do is wring them out, and they're reusable. You buy them and you will probably never have to throw them away. They won't degrade on you. They hold up perfect. So it's kind of a one-time filter. These things you got to buy all the time. Hate them. Same as these. Wring them out, put them back on, good to go. Don't need to buy anything else. This one, with this idea, we can adjust them a little bit. So we'll see how they work. Okay guys, this is another hang on back that I did the same method with. This one you can see the sponge is just starting to get a little bit dirty, and I'm starting to get a little bit on the overflow side. But any of the filters that take the Whisper brand cartridge size medium, this sponge will be a good replacement for. Hey guys, so you see me earlier cutting the sponges up and using those, so we're going to be going through these tanks, and I'll be cleaning the ones that have them, and we'll go through the different style, which was the dual intake one, and I actually do like that, so we'll go through them, see how dirty they are. This little 10 gallon up here I've been adding new substrate to, so it's been picking that up, so that one's going to be pretty dirty. This is a shrimp tank, and I don't want to do a large water change on it, so I'm going to, in my buckets, I'll pull the water out of this one tank, and I'll have a dirty and then a clean, so it will clean it here, and then we'll flip it over, clean it there, and then it'll go back to the tank. So we'll go through that. Pulling the siphon out of the hang-on back so I don't suck up any of my guppy fry. And now got enough water. Okay. Stash the hose over here. Alright, so I'll pull you over. So same style that we went over. And again, this is the same thing but different brand. Okay, we're going to pull out the shrimp one first. And you can see how dirty this is with the new substrate going in there. So flip it over so the water changes direction. And then over to the clean water. So you always want to use aquarium water, or you could maybe dechlorinate your tap water if you had to and use that, but might as well just use some dirty aquarium water, and you end up doing a little water change on top of it. So got that one buttoned up, and Doesn't appear to be leaking on the overflow side. So good. Number 2. This one looks not bad. That one's hardly even dirty. So I am going to jump in and grab this intake sponge. And when I do that, I pulled the intake tube out just so it doesn't continue to suck, because I don't want it pulling any of my guppies out. So when I ain't got the sponge on the front, you can lose your guppy fry. And that one's now dirty. So we got it on, and then we'll push the intake tube back down, and in just a little bit it will take a prime again. Alright guys, so I cleaned the buckets. This is a 10-gallon hex that the dual sponge is hanging on. So we will basically be doing a 50% water change on these guys. This is my Japan blue colony, one of my Japan blue colonies. So I'm going to flip these guys down so that when I lower the water level, we don't end up pulling air. I'm going to get you back so you can watch. Okay. Again, I'll be pulling the siphon out of the hang-on back so I don't lose any fry. Alright, got the water level really low. Gonna reach in, pull them guys out. So I am gonna pull them up out of the water so I don't lose any guppy fry. And there be one. Like I said, this is my favorite way to do it with this dual. I really like the single, but this is just better. So got them both in the tank, and this one is horribly dirty. So this is why you would have a dirty bucket and then a secondary clean. So obviously I've went a little too long. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've done this. So into the clean water. And we'll go back in the tank. Turn it down. Back on. And as long as they're submerged, eventually it should pull prime, but with the water level, you know, all the way down, you're asking quite a bit for it to prime, but looks like it's trying. So then I'll just do my normal water change. I won't take you guys along for that. But this setup, pretty happy with it. I will try in the descriptions to find the links to the things I talked about. And if you want to, you can do the same thing that I do. But it works out really well, other than I should have cleaned the glass. But working out good.